So, Coach, go ahead if you want to give us a starting statement.
Obviously, we didn't play up to our standard, and certainly it's a game of execution. And in critical situations, we didn't coach well enough or didn't execute well enough. But we take losses as a team. Don't point fingers, and that's it.
Jerry, go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. This was a lopsided ball game, in that your offense couldn't stay on the field long enough. Your defense was out there. I thought your defense played really a tremendous job, but time of possession and the offense not able to generate any activity really kind of hurt, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. In the first, we only had one possession in the first quarter. They were able to sustain some long drives, and we're moving the ball well offensively in the first half, and scored some points and negated ourselves a touchdown with a penalty. And then in the second half, we, again, credit to them because they're forcing turnovers, but we gave up the ball a couple times, and the defense was on there for a long period of time. Spent a lot of time on the field, and fought their tails off to give us an opportunity on several occasions to get the ball back. But we weren't able to execute and get done what we needed to get done.
I know they say you make your own breaks, but the breaks just didn't go your way tonight. You had a touchdown call back with a holding penalty, and then the turnovers, the fumbles, one of them a little questionable, and then losing Isaac Slade on that call. But there's some things that just did not go your way tonight, did they?
Well, it's like you said, you make your own breaks. We got to do a better job coaching it. We got to do a better job coaching ball security. We got to do a better job making sure that we avoid penalties. But it is a game of execution. Things you can't compromise in a game like this against a top 10 team. You can't compromise your physicality, your execution, your focus, and your effort. And certainly, when you turn over the ball like we did, hard to overcome.
Final question for me, and then let everybody else jump in. And that was preparation for this ball game. And then after seeing this game, did Iowa State bring anything or do anything that you guys were surprised by, shocked by, or weren't really ready for?
I felt in the first half we were starting to gain the momentum until we had the issue with the kickoff return. And that's not DJ's fault. He was trying to get it, and on the sideline, all of us are trying to get him to get away from the ball, but and he was trying to judge it, so that's not his fault. But overall, we felt that in the first half we were generating enough plays, and we were starting to get a feel for it on defense. With the fourth down, stop down at the 1 yard line, the 99-yard drive, that we can really put ourselves in a good situation, especially getting the ball first in the second half. But we didn't do that.
All right, Coach, I appreciate your time as always. We'll let the rest of the crew jump in and ask their questions, and we'll see you when you get back here home.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll open it up to the group now. Again, utilize the raise hand function. We'll start with Ryan Thorburn.
Mario, did you feel like it was hard for Tyler and Anthony to either get in or stay in a rhythm with rotating them? And how do you see the quarterback position this offseason?
No, we went into the game with the same type of packages for Anthony and short yardage and some 4-minute stuff. But we did determine that we were going to put him in the second quarter to play. And he developed a hot hand, so we stayed with a hot hand. That was what transpired, nothing else.
James Cripea.
Mario, once you got into the second half, though, how was the rotation, particularly even on the same drive, how is that supposed to be successful?
Say again?
Once you got to the second half, how was the quarterback rotation, particularly the one on the same drive, into the third with Tyler, you started the fourth with Anthony? How was that rotation supposed to be successful?
I keep losing you. If you're asking about the rotation the second half, we went with Anthony because we felt he had the hot hand and that Tyler was going to go back and play as well. That's how those guys perform well in practice, so that's what we went with. The short yardage packages were still Anthony's to play with.
Matt Prem.
Yeah, Mario started to stick with the quarterbacks, but Tyler goes in and he just gets 2 handoff plays and he comes out with Shuck. How is it in that development? How are each quarterback expected to get a rhythm when they're coming in, coming out so often?
We did what we thought would give us the best chance to win, and Tyler, the one series where he had those handoffs and he didn't get to throw it, sure, it's not in any way, shape, or form a way to judge him for what he did or what he didn't do. When Anthony went in, he was doing well, so we went with him. And that was the extent of the decision process. And later in the game, we felt we were going to get them back in or get Tyler back in so he can play some more. And we did at one point in time, I forget exactly when, but that was the quarterback rotation that was decided upon.
Ryan Milano.
Coach, the 4th and 3 call down 14 towards the end of the third quarter. What went into the decision to punt instead of going for it?
Yeah, we thought the spot was going to give us a 4th and 1.5, 1.5, and it looked like a 3, like a long 3. And we felt that we could pin them deep and get the ball back. Felt that our defense was starting to get its feet underneath itself, and so we did.
Eric Scopel.
Mario, third down was not a good down for either side. 0 for 6 offensively. They were 11 for 19, also pretty good on fourth. Just what I guess, was there any trends there on those downs, or what did you see there?
Certainly, they outplayed us and they outcoached us on third down. They certainly did. That I think one of them was two of them were actually turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. But we've been good on third down. We certainly got a lot better the last couple weeks at stopping opponents on third down, and we didn't tonight. They did a better job than we did.
Jesse Morrison.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to get your overall thoughts on Tyler's performance today.
Thought he had some good moments, looking at him statistically. 7 for 9, 79 yards along a 20. Had the one pick at the end when we're trying to make something happen. Thought he did some good stuff. I thought Anthony did some good stuff as well. And we played both of them because we felt that they can both give us a chance to win the game. And there was enough clarity to start Tyler, which is what we did. There was also enough of good play by Anthony where we felt it merited him playing, and that's what we did.
Greg Moore.
Coach Greg Moore, Arizona Republic columnist. Good to see. That was a tough loss. You guys didn't have fans there. Am I correct in that?
Today at the stadium, there were families there. Yes, sir.
Okay, you had some families there. The reason I ask is it seems to me that the Fiesta Bowl was being responsible in severely limiting the number of people that could attend the game. And I'm curious your thoughts on being part of a game that is doing something that a lot of others kind of aren't willing to do in a concession to the pandemic.
Well, I think first and foremost, that was a promise to all student athletes in our conference, and I know nationally as well. So it's critically important. It's always going to be the priority and at the forefront of the decisions involving our student athletes playing during a pandemic.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
AJ.
Hey, Coach. So you touched on it there a little bit, but just big picture, obviously, this was not how you wanted the season to end, but can you just take a moment to speak to what it took to get to this moment where you played in a New Year's Six and your team was able to get out there and play football in the middle of a pandemic?
Sure. We'll address it just like we did inside there. We addressed the game itself, which we were disappointed. We were disappointed by the way we played. We were disappointed by the way we coached and the result. That's not what we came here to do. We didn't come here to participate. We came here to win. Second thing we addressed was the season itself. The fact that we were able, we were ready to play all, what were we now, 7 games, and really for an 8th game, because our guys did an unbelievable job with protocol. The training staff, the athletic staff, the entire organization did a great job with that. And because of that, gave ourselves an opportunity to play for the conference title and get that win and come over here and play. And we're able to play again today. So there's a lot of pride in doing that part. We just, obviously, when you don't win the game, we don't take it as a consolation prize. A lot of guys in that locker room are hurt, like we should be. And it's got to be used as fuel, knowing that it's a really good football team with a boatload of really good seniors. Reminds me a lot of the team that we had last year and how they found a way to make, to execute and coach and do the things that they need to. When the game was on the line. So when you take all those things into account, being able to play safely, being able to get over here certainly is something that, we take great pride in, just disappointed in the result.
Warren.
Mario, tough way to end the season, but there's so much to look forward to with this team. You've mentioned it many times this year about the youth of this squad. what excites you about going into next year, about what this team can do with a full season under your belt?
Yeah, the off season is what we're excited about. The ability to develop from a strength and conditioning standpoint. So many guys played football for the first time as starters. The new offensive line, quarterbacks, a couple wide receivers. The receivers, for the most part, were veterans. The linebackers, a couple guys that were banged up and didn't get to play. You know, well, I've obviously Noah played, but Justin Flo and the Dante Mannings of the world. You know, we expect Cam McCormick to be back really healthy. We're welcoming the best class that we've ever had in the history of our program as well. And 13 of those guys will be enrolling early, will be on our campus within a week or so. So you got to be excited about the fact that as being the youngest team in the country, we still were able to win the conference and get to a New Year's Six game. But young or not, again, it's still going to be about winning it, you know? So a lot of good lessons learned, a lot to be excited about, and a lot of fuel that we can use in the offseason to get better.
Kevin Wade.
Kind of touched on it there. What's your process is going to be for the next few weeks with the new guys on campus, letting the old guys, the guys that have been there, heal up? What's the next few weeks look like for your program?
Well, the first thing is meeting with the seniors and figuring out exactly what the next step for them is. You have to feed them the information that you get from the NFL Advisory Committee. Give them whatever opinion that they want to, whatever they want to dive into. If they want a firm opinion by us, our staff, we always give it to them. They've been great with that. So have the parents. So we do that so that they can make a decision as it best fits them and their future. The players will go home for about 2.5 weeks. We spent the holidays in Eugene, so they never got a break. So they're going to go home while they do kick in classes on Monday, and that'll be via remote. And then our freshmen, our newcomers, some are already in town, and the rest come in next week. And they will come in, they will isolate for about 6-7 days, whatever it may be, test, and then they will begin the off-season program, which, again, is critical to our success going forward.
James.
Mario, you mentioned special teams and the issues on, obviously, that led to the 2 turnovers. You said DJ wasn't at fault on that. USC took advantage of Kale on the onside kick. It seemed like Iowa State was trying to do the same by trying to basically put pressure on Kale to block. Why was DJ pulled if it wasn't his fault, and why was Kale staying on that unit when 2 teams had taken advantage of it?
Well, it's a different kick, right? The one to Kale was kicked to the front line over and behind them. This one was kicked to the ends, right? The one that went to DJ was with about 27, 28-yard line, and he was trying to field it. But with the ball going over his head, he was confused, and I think we were confusing him, but he was trying to field the ball. And we practice fielding pooch punts, pooch kicks, because that's what they do. They squib them, they kick them to the ends. Sometimes they kick them deep, sometimes they kick them short, sometimes they kick them at the front line. And we had practiced a bunch of it, but we need to do a better job coaching him up, getting him ready for that situation.
Eric.
Stick special teams and just ask you about the Mikael Wright play as well, and kind of, was he at fault there? Was that just a bad place, bad time thing where he gets blocked into it? Kind of how do you address that one?
Well, the returner, he's got his back to the returner because he's locked up with the guy in coverage, and the returner is yelling, you know, what the call word for them to know, hey, this is a situation where I'm now up on the ball, everyone out, everyone spread out so that there are no issues. And Mikael being locked up with the opponent just didn't allow him to hear it, you know, because he was giving great effort on the play. What happens is when those punts are short and the returner's got to come up to field that ball, if the communication isn't clear enough, that happens. So all about communication.
Matt.
Going into next year, I know we don't get to watch practice, so we don't know the competition at quarterback and how close it is, or if one guy stands out more than the other one. But in games, it looks like they're pretty even. Is this Tyler's job going into the offseason, or is it a full quarterback competition?
Well, after a game like this, with all the stuff that's going on with the seniors and the team and the things we have to attend to, we'll sit down and evaluate everything. But Tyler came in this year as a starter, and he started this game as well. Right. And he did a lot of good things out there, and we have tremendous confidence in him, and we're excited about Anthony as well. So a lot of different situations, right. You know, and to talk about him, try to settle him now, there's no shot at doing that. Not even close. You got a guy that's a sophomore and a guy that's a a senior. You've got guys that are granted extra years. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing as well, right? We got some good players on campus. We got an elite quarterback coming in. It's probably on campus right now. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but we feel confident in the quarterback room.
All right, we're going to start taking the last couple of questions here. Ralph?
Hey, Coach, regardless of any decision that could possibly be made, what's the legacy of a guy like Johnny Johnson III? Coming from Arizona, I'm a reporter down here, watched him play in the state championship and everything like that. 4 years, could make any decision, but regardless of that, what do you feel like his legacy is?
Well, you got to realize guys that came in with Johnny, they came to Oregon after Oregon had gone 4-8. So these guys were builders. They were guys that weren't afraid to kind of make their own footprints and not follow anybody else's footsteps. So he came in with a purpose and on a mission. And ever since he's been a freshman, he's been a starter, relentless grinder, tremendous leader, doing a great job in there right now with the guys that are hurting. And so Johnny is, in my opinion, he's going to go down. He's one of my favorite players ever. But in terms of his legacy, there's a lot that goes with his legacy, leaving as a guy that won back-to-back conference championships, a guy that was, our leading receiver, multiple times. Guy just does things the right way and certainly has a great future.
Ryan?
Coach, Iowa State doubled up the time of possession. As a head coach, what can you do better in order to prevent stuff like that and them dominating in the TOP?
Yeah, well, the way they play football is similar to what we've seen over the years with Stanford, where if they can get you in third and manageable and third and short and keep moving the sticks, they're going to continue bleeding the clock. They're going to snap the ball with anywhere from 10 to 3 seconds on the play clock, and time will get chewed up. And so I believe their first drive had gone about 12 plays. Their second drive was something similar. We scored quickly, and then we had a 3 and out, and then scored again. And what happens when you see that play count start to mount up, you have to give your defense a chance to catch its breath and get its legs underneath them by playing a little bit slower. We tried to do a little bit of that tonight, and we weren't very successful. So that's certainly one thing that I can do better as a head coach to help our defense when they're on the field that long.